Burley, we're not going to. Hello again, football fans, and welcome to another episode of Miners Live, a special edition post-game press conference, Miners Live. I am joined tonight by outside linebacker Killian Bain, wide receiver Connor Jameson, and the quarterback, y'all, Miles McCain. All fellow rookies playing in their second RFL contest of the season. If you remember, last week didn't go so well for us, but tonight things went a little bit differently. So great win overall. I guess we'll start things off. We'll just go ahead and throw it up there. 38-27 victory tonight on the road, no less. So great job by all around everyone. I think I was talking to Killian Bain a little bit before we went live here, and he said this is kind of the definition of an all-around team victory, and I couldn't agree more. You know, Miles McCain came out and did his thing. The defense stepped up. We all know that Joseph Torres has struggled. We all know the rumor mill is swirling about whether or not the Bisons should move on from Joseph Torres. Yes, that's a fact. Yes, that conversation is being had. But tonight, we really put an exclamation point on that conversation because our defense took care of what needed to be done. 2 more interceptions. So that's now 4 interceptions in the last 2 games. Exactly what I hope to get on a weekly basis from this defense, despite the fact, and I will throw this out there, I do not know the extent of the injuries quite yet. If I find those out during this, I will let you know. But we did lose Anton Burley, Chad Heath, both on the defensive side of the ball at linebacker, and we lost Kendall Booker, wide receiver, and running back to Manuel, all left this game early. And that is on top of the fact that we played the entire game without our superstar free safety, Derek Oliveros. So really excited to get the 38-27 victory, 2-1 now on the season. The Bisons fall to 0-3, and you have to wonder what this does for the rest of their season. But I guess I'll just go ahead and start things off and go right over to let's go to Miles. Obviously, the man of the hour here. We do not have the final votes yet on star of the game, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I don't think anybody is going to argue with this. So for those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about, every week we do a star of the game. It could be somebody on offense. It could be somebody on defense. Last week it was Kashawn Hendricks in a losing effort. And it's voted on by the team. It's a locker room vote on who deserves to be the star of the game. And normally it will be a locker room vote. However, today I'm not even going to give anyone in the locker room the opportunity to not make this unanimous. And I'm just going to go ahead and say congratulations to Miles McCain, star of the game, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. How you feeling, Miles?
I'm feeling good. It was a great team game. Offensive line played amazing today, not letting go a single sack. Run blocking was good. Torres tore it up. And then the defense just doing their job. That's the main thing. Helping us get out to that 21-point lead early, and that was huge for us to capture that momentum.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to love and you got to appreciate when other young quarterbacks in the RFL are recognizing your talent. As you can see there, McCain showed he's the future. I was super impressed. Really, great to see you bounce back like that. And I say bounce back, not in the sense that you struggled in any way last week. It just looked like a lot of inconsistency at times. And, even though you had the 1 touchdown and you had the no interceptions, it looked like there was some inconsistency, like I said, but we also just had a hard time moving the ball entirely on offense. So to bounce back this week and put together 3 touchdowns, listen, that's 5 touchdowns on the year and 1 interception. Okay. Like there's a lot of really, really, really good RFL quarterbacks who would rather have your line 5 touchdowns and 1 interception than have the line that they currently have right now after 3 weeks. So again, tip of the cap to you, my friend.
Thank you.
What else we got? Let's go to Connor Jameson, because I know finally got your first RFL reception, right? How's that feel?
Pretty good. Just as many catches as I had drops, but we're gonna look at the catches right now.
I was going to say that. Hey, listen, man, that was between you and I off air. I wasn't going to throw you under the bus on air.
No, but I mean, it's something I definitely think is something worth noting. Of course, I'm happy to get in there and get some, be productive as a part of the offense, something like that. I know it's going to be a slow grind to get more and more in there, but absolutely, I'll take what I can get. Obviously, I'm happy about it. I'm glad I can help the team out, and I think those 2 catches that I got were pretty important in keeping those drives alive. So I was happy that they happened.
Yeah, I think you said it best. At the end of the day, if we were talking about a drop in the end zone and we lost the game by 6 points, okay, well, that's maybe a different conversation. Yeah. But we're talking about a couple drops that didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, obviously, because we got the victory. But you're right. There was, I believe, one of those catches was a crucial third and mid-range, third and short, and to keep the drive moving. And at that point, the clock was our best friend in the second half. So to be able to pick up a third and medium and keep the chains moving and keep the clock running, that's obviously a big deal. So I think I've told you this. We've had this conversation a little bit off air, but there are more packages that have you in them. And I'll just throw this out there again. I don't know the extent of the Kendall Booker injury, but obviously if Kendall Booker is going to miss time, any significant amount of time, then we're about to see the JMO show coming up here soon. Fire the cannon. Let's go. Killian, you're awfully quiet up there in the corner. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I mean, these guys are the ones that got all the statistics.
Yeah, don't be afraid to get on the stat sheet or something.
I mean, you know what? Sometimes you just got to impact the game away from the play. You know, and I felt like I did that, which I'm very proud of.
And look, hey, I guess the greatest ability is availability, and right, you didn't get hurt. 2 linebackers got hurt, and you weren't one of them. So I guess there's something to be said about that. Let's also not forget. Let's give a shout out. I see the comment here in the chat, but let's give a shout out to Grant Culpepper. So for those of you that didn't know, I announced it about an hour before game time because I didn't want to tip the hand too soon. But Derek Oliveros was out with a high ankle sprain. It looks like he's only going to miss 1 week, which is good news. So Grant Culpepper was thrust into a starting role immediately. And you couldn't possibly ask for a better debut in your, first game as a starter. And he picks up a pick 6 and takes it to the house. And, when that happened at that particular point in the game, you could say that Grant Culpepper pick 6 changed the complexion of the rest of the game, right? The momentum completely went in our favor. What do you got?
Did you just see
Smitty's comment?
The Relocation Football League official comment?
Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. No injuries from the game were sustained. Breaking news. So that is good news for everybody except for Connor Jameson, who now falls back to 4th on the depth chart.
I'd rather have our guys out there, our number 1 guys, and I'd rather, I'm perfectly fine with sitting the bench if that means a team win, and then that gives me more opportunity, obviously, just to keep doing my own thing to try to move up, Yeah. I'm not upset about it. I'm not going to sit here. I don't want any ill will on any other players. I don't want injuries to happen so that I get my time in the sunlight or whatever. It's what I'm happy for it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really big piece of news.
It is.
Look, obviously Derek Oliveros was only going to be out for 1 game, but when you lose guys in the middle of a game, you never know how long they're going to be out for. And what's even more amazing about this is that none of those guys came back. So, for a guy not to come back at all, you're fearing the worst. Like normally, if a guy is out and he's not going to miss any further games, then a lot of times he comes back in that game that you're currently playing. So typically, if a guy doesn't come back at all, you're worried about a 3-week absence. In the case of Anthony Fry tearing a labrum, maybe a 4-week absence twice in 1 season. I digress. But really good news. So Kendall Booker, wide receiver, Damani Manuel, running back. Although, guys, I mean, Am I crazy to think that maybe Jacarri Torres earns himself a little bit more run after the performance tonight?
Might
ran
want
lights out.
to calm down there. Relax.
I mean, I don't know, 32 carries, $111 and a tutty. Damani Manuel, I'm just saying.
What did he
show
average?
up.
What did he average? Like 3.5 yards per carry, whatever it was.
Oh my God, yeah.
Hey,
3.4.
but
32,
listen,
yeah.
3.5 or whatever it is, you do that 2 times, that's setting us up in 3rd and short and not 3rd and long.
Mhm.
So that's a win.
That's spoken like a rookie quarterback right there.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Just give me 3.5. Just give me 3.5 and 3.5, and I'll get us the other 3, right?
Smitty says, "Here he go." LOL. Shake my head.
I don't know who he's talking about. Oh, he's probably talking about me with Damani Manuel.
Yep.
I mean, look, man, I need Damani Manuel to step it up. Like, what's interesting is Damani Manuel gets hurt in this game, but I had put Jacarri Torres in 2 particular formations. I had put Jacarri in as the starter in the I form sets. So Damani Manuel is a starting running back in every formation in the book except for the 2 I forms, because I feel like Jacarri Torres' running style, running straight downhill, the I form, oftentimes inside runs, was going to be good for us.
That's when you're more powerful.
Yeah, and I made a couple switches on the offensive line. We talked about this in Norman Sinclair. I took out Shamir Burns from the left guard position, and I put in Norman Sinclair. And then Norman Sinclair just messed around, and the Bisons found out 2 pancakes for your boy. So hashtag maple syrup if you want, but your boy Norman Sinclair picked it up really good in supporting Jacarri Torres. Let's take a look. What else do we see in the chat here? Any questions for the guys? Question for Miles, question for Connor, question for me, Killian. This is all for you guys. So we'll probably go for maybe another 5 minutes or so if we get some questions in here. I see Anthony Fry's here, obviously disappointed that he couldn't be with us, but prior obligations for him. So what did he say here? Sorry, just stepping back in. All the injuries were for this game. Yeah, so that's great news there that we're not missing anyone for an extended period of time. If there's anybody that can appreciate that, it is Anthony Fry. We'll throw this out there, Miles, from Arthur Ullman Arnett from the Wizards. Wants to know how you're feeling. Any different from when I asked you 5 minutes ago?
Nope, still riding that high off that win.
Still good?
Yeah.
If you could, let's do this. If you could say that there was one aspect of the game tonight that you could have changed for the better, or you personally could have improved on, what do you think that could have been?
Okay. So obviously the interception kind of stung because it was an easy throw and it was just inaccurate across the middle, but that's going to happen. We all know that. Overall, honestly, I thought it was a pretty solid game. I like to get the ball out a little bit quicker. Sometimes it seemed like I kind of hung on to it, but for the most part, at least we were finding open receivers. They did a good job getting open, and the line holding up to allow me to take that time to find a receiver was huge. So honestly, I thought it was a pretty good game, all things considered, and compared to last week, of course, with the struggles there. I'm just going to ride it high, man. I'm not going to take anything away from us on this.
All right. Well, Anthony Fry is campaigning for more target share. What do you have to say about that?
Get open, Fry.
Yeah. So Fry's not here and you are. Can we put to bed any sort of bitterness or any sort of rumors that might start from you and Fry not being on the same page, and McCain and Fry don't get along? There's dysfunction in the Miners locker room. Can we just put that to bed now?
Yeah, Fry's my guy. Fry's my guy. I've always spread around the ball at TCU. You could see it. I mean, Peyton Cash, I guess, was my favorite target there. So if things work out how they should, Fry will get a lot more targets later on, but it will work.
I'm sorry.
If anything, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
If anything, Fry should be mad at Starkman for taking his routes away.
The one catch for 14 yards. That was a big third down, though.
It was. It was a huge third down.
17 yards total.
Who, Starkman?
Yes.
Okay. And Fry had what, 3 for 30?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Trying to
around
pull it
that.
up right now, but I
Around that stat line.
Yeah, so Starkman had 2 for 17, and Fry had 3 for 30. Yeah.
Is there? All right. I thought I was going to go through this whole thing without getting to this point, but here I am. Is there anything that you could say that is more disconnected from reality than that right there? Peyton Cash led the college series in receptions. Peyton Cash was the tight end for TCU. The quarterback for TCU was Miles McCain. Literally, it's one thing to make a stupid statement. It's another thing to say what is said on the screen right now. That is literally the furthest thing from the truth. Like
Who's Samurai Nation again? Who's his player?
This
is Jacob McCall.
That's McCall.
He goes from
That's right. I knew that.
he goes from like congratulating McCain, like great job, McCain is the future, love you, McCall, and then you say something like that. That is literally the dumbest thing we've heard in RFL season 8. It's dumber. Oh, hold on.
Been 3 weeks.
Hold on. It's dumber than Coach Rowland of the Barons throwing Burley under the bus last week, saying he's not my starting quarterback, and then less than a week later having a complete change of face and being like, oh my God, Burley's my starting quarterback. Don't get me started. This is not about that. I'll have plenty more to talk about that later on. But come on, McCall. Don't be that guy. You watch a lot of RFL. You watch a lot of college series RFL. Don't come out here with that weak take. We all know McCain don't like tight ends.
McCain loves tight ends.
What do you? Come on. What do you have, like 118 receptions by Peyton Cash? Come on. Be
Peyton
better than
Cash
that.
broke the reception record.
Yeah.
There you have
Did he
it.
break the reception record for tight ends or in general?
Just total.
Wow. I don't think I realized that.
Yeah.
There you have it.
I need my fact checker, Mitch. He'll tell you.
Yeah. Is Mitch, you still here? Fact check. Can we get?
Oh,
Let's see. We got a couple more. I mean, Mitchie's all aboard the McCain train, as you can see here, guys. I don't
we
know.
all are. Who wouldn't?
This is it. I mean, Miles McCain for Rookie of the Year. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got my vote.
Man, you know, if I had a vote, 5 touchdowns and 1 interception, like that's pretty good.
Through 3 weeks, that's a pretty good stat line.
Yeah, like no joke. That's really good for a rookie who comes in at 70 overall, much to the dismay of everyone in the league. Here we go. Rohan, biggest Sacramento Miners fan. If you guys don't follow, if you guys don't know who Rohan is, make sure that you check him out. He is literally Sacramento. He's the Sacramento Miner OG fan from day one. And here he is in the chat. McCain looked a lot more comfortable this week. Absolutely. Rohan, we were talking a little bit before we went on air about how last week the throws to the flat and the throws, the short outs, right? Like the 4-yard out, the 5-yard out. It looked like he was overthrowing the receivers. And today that wasn't the case. There was several plays that looked very similar to last week, but he was hitting Buck Ulbrich. If you remember early on in the game, there was 2 or 3 of those, that type of play to Buck Ulbrich, and he hit him right on the numbers. And, that kind of got the offense jump-started a little bit. And then from there, he was able to settle in. You saw Miles hit a couple deep balls. At the end of the first half, that deep ball to Pavo Frederick, I mean, that ball was thrown on a line, perfect spiral, and that got us an extra touchdown. And so look at the little things, right? Like that, being able to get that extra touchdown right before halftime, and the Grant Culpepper pick 6 running it back, like all those little things turn into a big thing. And again, to come away with the victory tonight, you see it right there on your screen. Miners 38, Bisons 27. Great job. I guess before we get out of here, guys, we'll take a quick peek at the upcoming schedule and what we have next. So week 4 next week, we are at home to the San Diego Red Dragons. I guess we'll start with you, Bane. What are your thoughts on the Red Dragons, and what are you looking forward to in that one?
I mean, I feel like they as though they have a great defensive line, and just as a defensive guy in general, they have a great defensive line, and we better have a great game if we want to stop their pressure, just like how they're going to have a great game to stop ours. It should be a really good defensive game, in my opinion, not to be biased.
And Miles, obviously, you're going to have to compete directly with that defensive line and with that defense as a whole. Is there any aspect of the Red Dragons defense that, concerns you, or is there any element of their defense that you think you can expose?
Well, personally, I got to say the D line, like Bane was talking about. But with our offensive line, how they played this week, I mean, we can only build off the momentum that we have, and I feel pretty confident that they'll be able to slow them down. If we can work out of that tight receiver set, when we had twins and they were basically like stacked on each other, if we can work out of that formation, it seemed to free up our receivers up quite a bit. So if we can use that against them and just kind of create open receivers off the routes, I'm trying to make that make sense, but that did.
Right.
Then I think we could be pretty successful. And also, if we can get the run game going like we did tonight, if we can put ourselves in a situation where we can manhandle the defensive line and put our, passing offense in better situations, I think we'll be successful.
All right, and then I'll ask this question to you, Connor. So week 4 at home against the Red Dragons, but then on the road, Pioneers, and then back-to-back home games in week 6 and week 7 against very good teams in the Voyagers and another divisional rival in the Dreadnoughts. What do you have to say about that stretch of games there from week 4 all the way up through week 7?
Obviously, like the big one there, I think that we're all kind of looking at is the Dreadnoughts, just because that's a divisional competition right there. I know a lot of guys personally that I've interacted with. There's a lot of guys out there that are talking a bit of smack, thinking that they're going to be able to walk out there and take care of McCain or whatever, but it's fine. I think after the performance today, I think they might be questioning a little bit how much trash they're talking, and might want to be backing up on that. Voyagers obviously going to the Reload Bowl this past year. It's going to be a tough battle. It doesn't matter, whichever way you put it. We're obviously going to go out there and give it our best, but it's going to be a tough battle. No one's going to argue against that. Pioneers, I think it's going to be a good game. It's obviously an away game, so it's not in our favor, but I think that's the type of team that we can really take advantage of, and it's a team that I think we can have a game similar to what we did against the Bison today. And the only thing I got to say on the Red Dragons is my buddy Chip Taylor's out there at the quarterback position, so I'm just hoping that our defense has a good enough day that it might bump him up in the depth chart a little bit with how good our defense plays against them. Is all I'm going to say.
Are you predicting a Chip Taylor debut against us? Like what's happening here?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I hope our defense performs so well against them that the following week, or weeks after that, it might result in Chip Taylor getting some playtime out there.
Wow.
I will do my best.
I hope Anthony Savoy is not listening to this post game, but. All right, he'll take one last look out at the chat here. Anything? There's our good buddy Eric Ashley. McCain is the man. Boy, McCain is going to sleep very well tonight, huh?
Yeah, this is nice.
So well.
He's got a lot of fans out there today, which is real nice to hear, considering last week everyone couldn't stop talking about our quarterback of the past. It's real nice to hear them talking about our quarterback of today.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a lot of that last week, and I was very to the defense of Miles in the sense that Chumlee threw 2 interceptions. Miles threw none. Obviously, the yards were there. They got the win. That's great. But let's not overshadow. Let's not bury the lead here a little bit. And now for Miles, like you did tonight, go out there, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, look, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception on a regular basis, that's going to get you in the running for most valuable player in the league right now. I don't anticipate 3 touchdown, 1 interception performance every week. We all know that the Bisons are not the class of the ARC. They're not the class of the ARC South. There's a lot of other teams that we are going to play that are significantly better and a much bigger challenge than what the Oklahoma City Bisons were tonight. That being said, you cannot take away a 3 touchdown, 1 interception performance. So again, shout out and credit to you, Miles, for the performance tonight. I'll be interested to see how this weighs against other ARC performers this week. I'm wondering if that could possibly get you ARC Player of the Week. I don't think it'll be enough. I'd have to look back. I don't recall off the top of my head what some of the previous performances from the weekend were. So like I said, I don't think that will be good enough. But regardless, an absolute great showing for your second game in the league. Bane, great performance tonight on the defensive side of the ball as a whole. I know obviously you had to step up big in the absence of Ant and Burley, as well as when Chad Heath left the game. So great job there. And then Jameson, first catch of the season. We got 2 for you tonight. So hopefully we can build off of that. And I guess any last comments from anyone here before we go ahead and get out of here?
Yeah, and EA says and GPEP's first pick.
Yep, can't forget that. Crucial.
And that's it. I mean, I can't believe that happened the way that it did. I didn't know that Derek Oliveros was going, to miss this game until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. At like 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon is when I found out that Oliveros was not going to play. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I immediately put together the graphic and I reached out and I said, "Hey, Culpepper, I got some news. You're starting tonight." Mm-hmm. And obviously he was super excited in the locker room, but to go out there and get an interception in your first game as a starter is amazing. Yeah. But to turn around and take it to the house, I mean, that's awesome. I think that's awesome for him.
And I believe during that interception, the Bisons were actually getting some momentum going their way as well.
Yeah.
So to have him get not only the pick, but also the 6 was very crucial for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, 38 points is going to win you a lot of games in the RFL. And if we have to get 7 of those on the defensive side of the ball, okay, fine. But 38, what'd you say?
I said, you're not going to see me complaining about that.
No. 38 points in the RFL is going to win you a lot of games, So in real life NFL, they always say it's a race to 20. Typically, the first team to get to 20 will win more games than not. I feel like in the RFL, it's more like first team to 30, just because it's such a offensive heavy league. But yeah, I think great overall showing offensively and defensively tonight from everyone. And I don't see any more questions from anyone in the chat. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'll get you guys out of here. And I'm trying to put together, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it. I'm trying to put together Miners Live again for the season. And I'm in the process of putting together a new show intro. Obviously, we've had a lot of turnover on the team, so that the intro that I have doesn't really work anymore because there's players in the intro that just aren't on the team anymore. So I'm working to have a new intro put together, and I'm also trying to figure out whether or not I want to keep doing it on Wednesday nights leading into the RFL podcast, or if I want to do it on Saturday mornings leading into the 1 o'clock games on Saturday. So haven't figured that out, but yes, Miners Live will be coming back a little bit at some point. So until then, thank you to Killian Bain, Miles McCain, Connor Jameson. Congratulations on the win, guys. And I will talk to you guys on the flip side. Have a good night, everybody.
You too. Congratulations to you as well. Done.
See you guys.
See you.